Hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gabby Vindries. I work as a community liaison with the Caregiver Resource Center of Orange County. Today, you joined us for our live stream. But before we get into that, we want to give you a brief overview of the services we provide as the Caregiver Resource Center of Orange County. A bit about the history of our center. We've been serving Orange County since 1988, almost 40 years. We are a program of St. Jude Community Services. Um, and we are part of a system of California Caregiver Resource Centers. So there's one that serves every county in California. And we're funded federally through the Older Americans Act and by the county through the Family Caregiver Support Program. So, who are we? We are a trusted partner for Orange County families who are coping with the physical, emotional, and financial responsibilities of caregiving. Our goal is to make sure that you feel supported in your journey to care for your loved one and also yourself. Our center's mission is to increase the quality of life of caregivers by helping families and communities master the challenges of caregiving. So whatever your goals are as the caregiver, we try our best to help you meet that need. This slide here shows like an overview of all we have to offer. So we do offer support groups both virtually and in person. We offer them in 3 different languages: English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. And some of our groups are themed. So we have a men's support group, art support group, etc. We also offer individual counseling for our registered clients. Our registered clients also have access to our care planning and caregiver assessment. Anyone who has any questions about caregiving resources in general can call our main line to receive specialized information on resources in Orange County. We offer education and legal workshops. We just had one this past Friday. And if you're interested in our classes, you can look on our website to find out our calendar. And our most popular service is our respite assistance. So we do offer grants to pay for either in-home care or out-of-home care for a short time um, at no cost to the caregiver. There's no income requirements and no insurance requirements. Next slide. And with that, we'll get into our topic for today's live stream. So annually, every March, we celebrate International Women's Day and Women's History Month. When it comes to the unique impact of caregiving on women, it's a moment to recognize and uplift women caregivers who are so often the unsung heroes who absorb a disproportionate amount of family care responsibilities. It's our honor and our privilege as the Caregiver Resource Center of Orange County to make the lives of so many women caregivers less stressful and more manageable. In today's live stream, we'll be discussing the impact of women in caregiving and sharing some facts and statistics. Next slide. So I wanted to start off this live stream by sharing a quote about caregivers that was said by First Lady Rosalind Carter, and it reads, there are only 4 kinds of people in the world: those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers. I feel like this quote is especially true for women caregivers because within our nation's system of long-term care, women's caregiving is essential in providing a backbone of support. In fact, the value of informal care that women provide ranges from 148 billion to 188 billion annually. Women provide the majority of informal care to spouses, parents, parents-in-laws, friends, and neighbors, and they play many roles while caregiving. So many studies have looked at the role of caregiving and the role of a woman in the family role. Although not all have addressed gender issues in caregiving specifically, the results still are generalizable to women because they are the majority of informal care providers in this country. About 66% of caregivers in the US are female. Although men provide care too, women caregivers spend as much as 50% more time providing care. The average U.S. woman aged 55 or older provides the equivalent of more than 5 weeks of full-time unpaid care to family and friends. That's 182 hours. Whoa. So these older women account for more than 35.3% of all people providing unpaid elder care, and 25.6% of people providing unpaid adult care. So that's a lot. Next slide. Women are the major providers of long term care in this country, but they also have long term care needs of their own. Women live longer than men, tend to outlive their spouses, and have less access to retirement savings, such as pensions. A common caregiving scenario is an older woman who cares for her husband and who discovers that there are few resources, financial or otherwise, to meet her own needs for assistance. If the woman of the household needs care or needs to work, then where does that leave the family? The conflicting demands of providing care will be felt heavily by women. One 4-year study found that middle aged and older women provided care. Middle aged and older women who provided care for an ill or disabled spouse were almost 6 times as likely to suffer depressive or anxious symptoms, as well as those who had no caregiving responsibilities. It's it's not care. It's not only care for a spouse that can affect their mental health. However, the main study found that women who care for ill parents were twice as likely to suffer from depressive or anxious symptoms as non-caregivers. So twice as likely. A study found that 26% of female caregivers reported fair to poor health compared to 12% of women in general. The physical impact of providing care can lead to long term care needs for the caregiver. For example, as many as 2 out of 3 older women do not take advantage of preventative healthcare services due to lack of information and high out of pocket cost. Coronary heart disease, or CHD, is one physical risk factor of caregiving. Women who spend 9 or more hours a week caring for an ill or disabled spouse increase their CHD risk by twofold. So they're twice as likely to develop the disease due to their caregiving role. Other health effects included elevated blood, blood pressure, increased risk of developing hypertension, lower perceived health status, poor immune function, slow wound healing, and an increased mortality, and an increased risk of mortality. Despite the physical and emotional tolls of caregiving and risk factors for the disease, uh, women caregivers are less likely to have their own health needs met. Next slide. The expanding demand for caregiving has occurred alongside women becoming increasingly important players in the labor market. Women make up a near record share of 46.8% of the labor force today. Caregiving, caregiving needs are more likely to relegate to women. Caregiving needs are more likely to relegate women to part-time employment or drive them out of the labor force altogether than men. Not only do these dynamics hurt women's earnings and contribute to the persistent pay gap with men, but unpaid care demands reduce the labor pool from which employers can draw upon. In 2023, 1.9 million women aged 55 plus were not in the labor force due to family obligations, 7 times the number of men in the same group. Even more than unpaid care, paid elder care relies on women. Women account for 82% of home health and personal care needs, and personal care aids. Sorry. That's a large majority. The Department of Labor projects these jobs will increase 22% by 2032, adding the most net jobs of all occupations, which should support women's paid employment prospects. However, paid care work relies disproportionately on women aged 55 plus, a group in the midst of its own tug of war between unpaid care responsibilities and paid employment. So, women may feel the weight of rising elder care needs most acutely, given their greater contribution of both unpaid and paid care. However, the growing number of families requiring care means that the care crunch will be felt by all, whether through the need to find and afford care or the need to juggle employment with unpaid care. Employers facing anemic growth in the work age population will thus need to bear in mind the growing need for flexibility among all workers in the years ahead. Next slide. So, it is clear that caregiving can have negative health effects. It is important to note, however, that although caregiving can exact physical, emotional, and financial tolls, it can also be rewarding. Some caregivers reported caregiver gain is feeling more purpose in life than their non caregiving women peers. They also reported some beneficial effects, including more autonomy, more personal growth, and more self acceptance when caring for friends. Because of the multifaceted role that family and informal caregivers play, they need a range of support services to remain healthy, improve their caregiving skills, and remain in their caregiving role. You can connect with your local CRC about caregiving support services such as informal assistance, counseling, respite, and support groups. There are also other organizations that have helpful resources such as the ADRC and the Council on Aging. Research has shown, for example, that counseling and support groups, in combination with respite and other services, have positive direct effects on health behavior practices and assist caregivers in remaining in their caregiving role longer, with less stress and greater satisfaction. In fact, women are more than twice as likely to say that than they would for their men counterparts. They're twice as likely to say that they would benefit from talking to someone about their caregiving experience. Next slide. And so to wrap up, I wanted to end this live stream with a reflection. This quote on the screen here reads, "A strong woman knows she has strength enough for the journey, but a woman of strength knows it is the journey where she will become strong," by Luke Easter. We at the CRC would like to celebrate and show appreciation to all the women caregivers out there who are on their caregiving journey with their loved ones. We see you and we thank you for all you do. Know that we are here to provide support so that you can take care of your responsibilities and also yourself. Excited? And yeah, if you would like to learn more about caregiving resources in general, or more about the facts and figures that we shared, you can get connected to our resources via our main line or on our website. Uh, and yeah, thank you for joining us for this live stream for March. We hope you join us again for April. And happy International Women's Month. Um, we hope you all have a beautiful, blessed day today. Thank you so much.